Welcome
Yeah.
to of A2sportsmedia game predictions. Had a lot of NFL and college football games this weekend. So we'll kick it off with the Ravens versus the Bengals. What are we thinking?
I mean, the Ravens have such a high-powered offense. And it's really, in my opinion, it's really going to be whether or not the Bengals can play any defense. I really think it'll be a shootout. Joe Burrow has been shown great promise in a rookie quarterback. Um, and, Joe Mixon, I think he's a really slept-on back in the Bengals backfield. He's one of the most elite in the league. So I'm gonna have to go with I'm going to go 21-35 Ravens. Yeah, I think it'll be a shootout.
High scoring game there.
I don't think it's going to be very close. I think the Bengals are going to score like 14, and then the Ravens are going to have like 35-14, my prediction.
All right. Well, I like that prediction, Josiah, but I think it's going to be a little closer. I'm thinking that the Bengals do keep up, like Owen was saying, and I think that the Bengals have a legitimate shot at taking this game. Now, do I think that they're the better team? No, but I think that it's a possibility that Joe Burrow can get his first signature win of his career and comes out strong with a win, 28-24.
I think the Bengals haven't really played anyone good at all, and they've still only won one game. And the Ravens are just such a good offense, and they have a solid defense to go along with it. So I just think Joe Burrow's first real test, and I think the Ravens will win by a good bit. I'm going 35-20 Ravens.
Yeah, I just think the Cincinnati defense is terrible. I mean, it's awful. And the Ravens have a great D-line, which matches up very well against the terrible O-line that Cincinnati has. So I just don't see the Bengals being able to get a whole lot going. So I'm going to go 35-14.
All right, moving on. Got the Colts and the Browns. Both teams are 3-1. What are we thinking?
Now, I think this will be a great game. Personally, I mean, we know I'm slightly biased towards the Colts. That being said, it is recognized the Colts have one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best defense in the league. And they've really been playing well right now. They're hot. And it's a great matchup out wide. I mean, they've got OBJ, the Browns do, and Jarvis Landry with Baker, who I'd consider around an average quarterback right now, throwing to them. So, I think it's going to be a great game, a high-powered offense against an elite defense. I think a game changer right now is Darius Leonard is out with a groin injury, and, he leads that Colts defense in the linebacker position. He leads the team in tackles right now. If he plays, it'll be a game changer. It'll give the Colts an edge on defense. If he doesn't, I think it'll be a great game. Really solid O-line up front with the Colts, one of the best in the league against Myles Garrett, former number 1 overall pick, who's been playing well in the Browns D-line. I just think it's going to overall be a great matchup, but I'm going to have to take the Colts in 17-14.
I think the Browns are going to win. I think Baker's coming off one of his best games as a Brown. His confidence is back. He's going to throw a lot of touchdowns, and it's going to be 28-21.
I do like that prediction, Josiah. And I'm thinking the same way. Browns lost Nick Chubb, which would normally be a huge loss for any team. But they also have Kareem Hunt backing him up, and he's shown that he can carry an offense, or a run game at least. And to be honest, I don't think that the Colts are it yet. Sorry, Owen. But I'm thinking 28-14, Browns take it. Will, take it away.
Oh, I was muted. It's my fault. Like I was saying, I don't really know much about these two teams. I'm surprised they're both 3-1, but when you look at their schedule, neither team has really beaten any good teams. When the Browns played the Ravens, they got blown out. I guess they beat the Cowboys, who aren't that bad, but I don't know. The Browns just seem like a better team to me. Have a pretty good offense. I don't know. The Colts' offense doesn't seem that explosive. So, yeah, I think the Browns will win easily. 24-10. Browns.
So, I honestly think that Browns win over the Cowboys was a bit fabricated. I mean, the Cowboys should be 0-4 right now. If it wasn't for the Falcons choking another lead, they would be 0-4. And I just don't really think that win was all that impressive. So, and the Colts have looked good. I mean, they were 3-1. They haven't played a lot of good teams. But they have a great O-line, and they have a good rookie receiver, Michael Pittman. Jonathan Taylor's look great. Like, they have a good future. And I'm going to go 21-14 Colts.
All right. That's all for the NFL games for this week. But there are a lot of good college football games. First off, got Tennessee versus Georgia.
I don't know too much about Tennessee, but I know Georgia's an elite team. They're one of the favorites in the SEC. So I'm gonna have to take Georgia here, but I think the Bulls will be able to keep it close. I think they'll be able to keep it close, but late in the game, I think Georgia will pull away. So I'm gonna have to take Georgia 28-17.
Yeah, Georgia looks very good. Auburn and Tennessee, I think, are equal in how good they are in the SEC.
Whoa.
That was quite the
But both teams have a lot of
quite the
talent.
statement.
hot
But
take.
Georgia just has so much talent. I think they're going to win by a lot, 35-14.
I agree with Josiah yet again. Georgia coming off a big dub against Auburn. Stetson Bennett looked actually pretty good. Georgia got their run game going, and the receivers, especially was it Karis Jackson? I forgot. Jackson. He was lights out. They've also got George Pickens. I think their receiving core is too much for this Tennessee defense. Tennessee has looked decent. I'm not sold on Jarrett. How do you say his last name?
Garantano.
Garantano. Thank you. They've got a bright future, but I don't think it's going to be close. I think Georgia hammers them probably 42-14.
All right. I think as Vanderbilt fans, me and James both think Tennessee is pretty overrated.
Mm-hmm.
There haven't been any good teams. Barely South Carolina. And, yeah, Georgia.
They don't won that game either.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, they look like Georgia, they look like a great team. Beat Auburn handily, and I don't know if Tennessee is even as good as Auburn. So yeah, I think Georgia 28, Tennessee 10.
So the one thing I'll give Tennessee is they have a great O-line. They got the transfer from Georgia, Cade Mays. He was granted immediate eligibility for some reason. Of course, that happens because it's Tennessee. But I don't really think that they're all that good. They have a good run game because they have a great O-line. But like Parker said, Garantano just doesn't really look that good. Georgia has a great defense. Probably one of the best in the country, as usual. And their offense looks a lot better now. Stetson Bennett looked really good. They have, in my opinion, the best receiver in college football, George Pickens. I think they'll win this one 42-14.
All right.
Bold prediction there.
Yep.
Number 19, Virginia Tech takes on number 8, UNC.
I think this will be a great game. I think this will be a phenomenal game. North Carolina showed a lot of promise, especially in the quarterback, Sam Howell, right? Anyways, ultimately I will take North in this. I'll take them 24-10. But Virginia Tech's good. I don't see him taking North Carolina. North Carolina, they've just showed a lot of talent this year. Just a lot of talent, the will to win.
Yeah, I think Virginia Tech's going to win this game because I feel like they're always solid, or historically they're always solid. North Carolina has a lot of promise, but I think that Virginia Tech kind of shocks them, and they're going to win 28-24.
Hokies with the upset, Josiah says. UNC kind of showed some cracks last week. Close game with Boston College. Boston College had a chance to, I believe, tie it up, but failed the 2-point conversion. Sam Howell has not looked as good as he did last year. He's already thrown 3 picks when he threw 7 all of last year. And this Virginia Tech receiving core has looked amazing. I mean, they've been one of the best in the country so far. I think it just comes down to which team makes the least mistakes. And I think that the coaching of North Carolina helps them here. Mac Brown is in my opinion, elite coach. And I think that the Tar Heels pull it out 28-24. But I don't think that UNC is a top 10 team either.
I agree.
Yeah, I think UNC definitely isn't a top 10 team. Virginia Tech is actually favored by ESPN. Sam Howell thrown 3 picks, 3 touchdowns. He's looked okay, but didn't do all that well against Boston College. Virginia Tech has a nice run game going, led by who is that?
Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson. He's a good runner. So, I think it's not really an upset, but I think Virginia Tech will win in a close game, 27-20.
Yeah, I think this will be a really good game. I think I agree with Parker. Sam Howell, he's a great player, but he looks like he isn't really matured as a football player. He's making stupid decisions a lot, and he's very talented. He's gonna play on Sundays. He's gonna be good, but I honestly think they lose this game because of that. I think their defense is not that good. Their offense can be good, but I'm at Virginia Tech 21-14.
All right.
Now for the Red River rivalry.
All right, who got Texas and Oklahoma?
Is Owen still here?
Oh, and
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
All
Sorry. Now, shockingly enough, normally the game of the week, but we had a great slate of games this week. But Sam Ellinger as a Heisman prospect, he's great quarterback. But Texas has made some mistakes in their previous games, and especially against TCU. But and Oklahoma's elite. I mean, yes, they screwed up. They did, but I'm gonna call that a fluke game. Yeah.
That's a bold take.
I think it's because
2
they
out of their
lost
3 games.
so much. Parker, they lost so much last year. They lost so much as a team.
Exactly.
So they're still working on. I think they're working on
they're not
chemistry.
that good.
Parker, hear me out. I think they're working on chemistry with young players. They have to bring them together as a team, and I think the Red River rivalry is the game to do it. I think if they come together as a team here, I think they're going to take the dub. I think it'll be a really close game because Sam Ellinger is elite and Texas is good this year, but Riley, he has a way with football players, man. He has a way with football players. I think that I'm gonna call Oklahoma this one. They're bringing it back. They're gonna save their season with this game, and I'm calling Oklahoma here Let's go 30, 35-28.
Ooh, low-scoring Big 12 game.
No, 35-31. 35-31, Oklahoma.
Nobody's got it into the 50s?
Both the teams
Shockingly
are
enough, no.
severely overrated, as with all Big 12 teams, because that's just not a good conference. It's just offense. They've shown that they can't compete in the playoff.
That I can agree with.
But it's going to be an exciting game, like it always is. I think Texas is going to win with Ellinger, 42-35.
Second best QB in Texas.
See, I feel like this actually comes down not to Sam Ellinger's performance, but Spencer Rattler's. He has looked really good in the first 3 quarters of every game that he's played so far, but he's just not clutch so far in his college career. He's not the most mature player. He's kind of insufferable on QB1, to be honest. And then Sam Ellinger, he's kind of been struggling with his accuracy the past 2 games. He did manage to pull out the win against Texas Tech. Wasn't so lucky against TCU. To be honest, I want both teams to lose this game. But I think that in the end, the talent of Texas and the leadership of Texas pulls it out. 49-48. I think a missed PAT is what makes the difference.
Yeah, I agree with what Josiah said. Both teams are pretty overrated. Both defenses are pretty horrible. Texas gave up 56 to Texas Tech. But with that being said, I think this is going to be a really good game. It's going to be one of those Big 12 shootouts that goes into like quadruple overtime. But I think at the end of the day, Ellinger just has a little more experience, and he's just kind of a winner. So I think we're going to see a double overtime game with Texas coming out on top, 63-56.
Yeah, I'm sort of a closet Texas fan. I don't really like them that much, but they're a team that I can root for. And I don't like Oklahoma. I just hate Oklahoma fans, and I think that they're just always an overrated team. They just play in the Big 12. Horns up.
Texas teams, though.
I think the loss versus TCU was bad, but I mean, I think that'll almost motivate them more than Oklahoma's, because Oklahoma's lost 2 straight. When's the last time they've done that? I don't even know. I think Texas will win this one. They've got the experience, they've got the talent over them, and honestly, I think they might have the coaching. I think Lincoln Riley's an overrated coach. I think he's kind of gifted with the talent of his players. So I'm gonna go Texas 49, Oklahoma 35.
I think that this season is really showing who the good coaches are and who just the good recruiters are.
Exactly.
James, you think Tom Herman is better than Lincoln Riley?
I'm not saying he's necessarily a better coach. I just think that Lincoln Riley's an overrated coach because he's had Kyler Murray, who's I think one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and he's had Baker Mayfield, and he had what's his name, Jalen Hurts, and now he has Spencer Rattler. So I don't know. I don't think he's all that. He's a good coach, just an overrated one.
All right. For our last game, in the game of the week, number 7 Miami takes on the number 1 team in the nation, Clemson. What are we thinking?
As good of a game as I want this to be,
Yeah.
as good of a game as I really want this to be, I think Clemson has so much talent and so many elite players on the offensive side of the ball and on the defensive side of the ball. So I think this might be close for about a quarter and a half, maybe the first half. But I think the Heisman frontrunner and Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne in their backfield.
You mean De'Aaron King?
De'Aaron King, don't get me wrong, he's great, bro. Don't get me wrong, De'Aaron King is great. I watched him at Houston. He's a great player. He's explosive on the offense, but he's not Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence will be the number 1 overall what every NFL team wants right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Clemson's going to take this game, and I think they're going to take it big and show college football that they're the most elite team right now. And I think they're going to take it 56 to 35. No, not even 56 to 31.
All right.
Well, I think this is the best defense that King's ever going to face as a college player, and he's going to be fooled by him. And Clemson is just too good. You're going to win 42-14.
All right. I do think that Clemson pretty easily pulls this one out. Although I do think that Miami's defense is going to give them some problems in the first half. Their D-line has looked really good. They've been playing pretty relatively mistake-free football, which is pretty rare this year. Clemson has looked good. I mean, they haven't been challenged at all. T-Law is completing career highs in completion percentage, 7 TDs, 0 interceptions, 199 QB rating. He's been lights out. They've got Travis Etienne who they can lean on more. I think that Clemson pulls this one out 35 to 14, but I think that Miami keeps it close in the first half.
Yeah, I think this game will be a little closer. You know, Miami's played some good teams this year, played Louisville, whereas you have Clemson, you know, running all over teams like the Citadel. So I think Clemson's going to be punched in the face a little. And I think Miami's going to have a chance to make the game interesting. I think King is a pretty good quarterback, 6 touchdowns, hasn't thrown a pick. But then, you know, on Clemson you have Trevor Lawrence, best QB in the nation, and, you know,
7 touchdowns and no picks. Just saying.
There you
That's
go.
one better.
You have playmakers like ETN, and then obviously they have 5 stars all over the defensive side of the ball. So I think it's going to be a really, really good game. But I think Clemson will score at the end to win. So score might be 27-24 Clemson.
So I'm going with the upset here. I think Manny Diaz is a terrible coach.
Hot take. Hot take.
But I think Clemson hasn't played a good team in the regular season in I don't know how long. Maybe last year against UNC, but they weren't all that good last year. And I think this will be different for them. I mean, in the past years, they ran all over Miami, and they probably won't expect to do it this time, but they won't be used to a test like this in the regular season. And I think D'Eriq King is just too good. I think he's the more talented quarterback in this game. Not saying he's the better quarterback, but he's the more talented one.
Really?
And I think
Wow.
just watching him, I mean, he's.
What he can do with his legs.
You heard it here first.
He's
second to none.
He's Lamar Jackson-esque, but he's better with throwing the ball. He can throw the ball better than Lamar can. So I'm going Miami 35, Clemson 28, and that's a lot to do with the fact that Clemson does not have as much of a passing game as they would because they lost Justin Ross, and I think Miami's going to win this one. Hot take. I might be wrong, but I'm just going with the upset.
All right. Well, that concludes week 1 of A2sportsmedia game predictions. Check back to see how James did, see if Miami upset Clemson. Yeah, check back next week for another one. Thanks for watching.